Good Day Journal. It seems like a lifetime ago when you first had an epiphany about the process of living your best life. It seems like a lifetime ago because it was a lifetime ago. The young Dr. Turner-Bandele was running track and qualified for his first national meet. Up until the national meet, the competition was relatively easy. Mostly, Naeem ran circles around the state and regional competitors. He won so many ribbons and medals that he started to care extraordinarily little about them. I'm sure he threw away more ribbons, trophies, awards, certificates, and medals than he kept. Winning at the lower level, at the level others could easily win, never mattered much to him. Once he learned there was a national meet, that's all he ever considered. The 6-year-old who won his state and regional meet was heartbroken when the big kids boarded the bus for the 2-day plus ride to Miami. He asked, "Why can't I go to the nationals? I want all my meets." Fortunately, a couple years later, he was old enough to compete nationally. Finally, accompanying his track team, he and a group of champions from Indiana and the region arrived at nationals in Santa Monica, California. You watched a child believing himself on mountain's peak, suddenly feeling like one sentenced to a lifetime in the valley. In Santa Monica, California, you saw a child go from being knocked down, counted out, to get his mind right, to get up and become a national finalist. Naeem placed last in his events at the Junior Olympics in your current home state of California. You teased him that 38 competitors were in his event, and sometime later, he finished 39. That's how dreadful things went for him that week. He was, as Charles Barkley says, terrible. But like you started to say earlier, he learned a valuable lesson back then that has helped him at every stage of his journey, from soccer abroad to direct admittance into PhD fellowships to completing his dissertation under what were not always desirable terms to completing his MBA after only averting the pending crisis to starting what is now one of the world's premier energy consulting and technology companies. He embraced the truth that nothing good comes easy. The more emotively vivid the realization of a dream, the more of a beatdown you can expect. The more audacious your hopes, the more courage you must muster if you are going to do what you said you wanted to do. The bigger the goal, the more internal convincing you will need not to give up, quit, and be like everyone else who had a dream but didn't give it their all. Every peak has a valley, and every higher elevation has a lower gorge awaiting. Peaks and valleys go together like peanut butter and jelly, peas and carrots, beans and cornbread, yin and yang. The key to greatness, to living your best life on your terms, is never to get too high or too low. The key to doing what others believe is impossible is refusing to lose sight of this, that without trials and tribulations, you would not know triumph. Without hardships and hard times, there is no such thing as victory. Absent the challenges, no one could distinguish the participants from the champions. Without hard knocks, you will never know how to kick in or grasp the urgency to kick down the door to get what you want out of life. A life missing some knocks upside your head is a life where you never discover how to get out of your head so that you might get ahead and stay ahead of the pack. You've learned an unforgettable lesson thanks to the privilege of being his father. The key to a great life is to remember in challenging times that whatever you are experiencing, someone else has done what you want to do. It would help if you also recognize that most greats experience worse. And the more you complain about the difficulties, the more the universe listens and wonders if you are the appropriate person to do something incredible. Based on humans' propensity for whining and complaining, you've always thought the spirit might consider if gifted to another should be the pot of gold at the rainbow's end. You know this for sure. Someone somewhere in the world wants what you claim you desire, that pot of gold. If you are unwilling, ready, and happy to go through whatever you find complaint worthy, somebody will do so to win. Somebody will do whatever needs doing without complaining when they know that the prize at the end of the journey is doing a thing most others dare not or cannot do. You've seen it and heard it said, "If I had your hands, I'd cut mine off." Intimated in the statement is that your life is so good, I'd take what you have in a heartbeat. I'd give my hands to live my life as you live yours, is what folks figuratively mean. Those people say these things in part because it sounds cute. It's a nice cliche. But on the other hand, no pun intended, what they express is how they honestly feel. They would love to have your life. Some would take your life without a second thought, including the challenges of becoming you. If they can make the dreams you aspire to their reality, they will do whatever is necessary to live their best lives. If they could have half of the goodness and mercy you enjoy in your life, some would lie, steal, cheat, and even kill to be not like Mike, but to be like you. Today, as I said, you live your best life partly because you watched a child decide incredible early in life that being like everyone else was unsatisfactory. Being good at the state or regional level would not do. Being one of the nation's best became the only thing that mattered to him in track and field. Eventually, being good enough nationally was unfulfilling, and he turned his attention to global achievements. Packing his bags, he left for Brazil to do what no other child he knew would do: leave the creature comforts of home to endure hardship as a good soldier in a foreign land so that he could have the international soccer glory he so desperately desired. And I follow that strategy to this day. Unsatisfied with merely authoring books, you worked and continue doing so today, honing your craft to continue writing books the world desires to read and remain at the top of the bestsellers and award winners list. Displeased with being known as a guy with a clever wit who thinks outside of the box, you kept signing up to speak at events for free because you knew it was the only way that you would get emancipated from the life you no longer enjoy living. You spoke for free until it became too expensive for anyone not to hear what you had to say. You challenge yourself daily to be the best version of yourself possible. You accept that life, like the most treasured land, is not flat. If it were, it would be dull and neglected. And thus each day, you welcome the peaks and valleys. Bring on the mountaintops and the earth basins if it means you are always moving forward, living your life with joy on purpose, and doing so just as you always imagined. Thanks to the teachings of a child, you will never stop moving forward, doing things others can and dare not do, making the impossible possible and then inevitable. Thank you, Dr. Turner-Bandele. Thank you, child of mine.